I just lit a cigarette. And I was going to talk about one thing, and now I've decided I'm going to talk about something else. I am a burnt out nurse. Hi, nice to meet you. I've done this video a few times. I don't remember if I've left them posted, and I don't really give a flying fuck because this is going to be a little bit different. Because when I did it before, I was still crazy. And as I look around right now, this is the real world. Green is green. Everything's normal. When you are in a fog, like you get when you're going through a divorce, like you get when somebody dies and suddenly life doesn't feel real. Basically, when you've lived through hell and high water and back, and then you got like air dried, and then they were like, oh, we need to put her through another cycle. Bam! And then they did another one, and then you kind of like, and then they decided to do like a car wash instead this time, and then maybe next time there'll be a cat wash, and then we'll all be like, those are not a good idea. But by then, I'll look like that weird cat that hangs out at my friend's house that like squeals at me every. I mean, it's not a hiss. It's weird. Anyway, I'm a burnout nurse. I'm not just a nurse. I'm an internationally certified lactation consultant. We wear white coats. Every nurse that owns a white scrub jacket, go fuck yourself and stop. Because I know what you're doing. But also, don't. Because if you need that respect, go on. But don't pretend they're the same thing. I've had so many young men who've seen my white coat when I'm trying to really like drive a point home that say, yeah, my mom's got that. It's a nurse's jacket. And I say, no, look at it. And I wish that doctors explained to people the respect that goes into that coat. But I know for a fucking fact that when I'm not dressed like cutesy little Robin, and when I'm dressed like the booby doctor, unfortunately, was the name that I got, but it was given to me by the very first patient that I saw, who also so happens to be the first patient. I said something really sorry. It's a unit. It's a family. When you go into a room, if you are an IBCLC, I hope that you respect, or if you want to be, because I have a lot of friends who are like, I want to be that. You have an office job. You get 9 to 5. You get da-da-da-da. You get paid more. You get paid almost as much as the PAs and the NPs. Yeah, I know. That's why I got a white coat. But then you lose all of your friends because, oh, that bitch thinks she's smarter than me. I know, because I am if I did this. But you might be smart too. You just are fine doing whatever. And I was too at one point. And then I thought, I'd rather do this for free and not get paid at all and do this all day, every day, which is what I ended up doing. Which, by the way, that's going to have another video of, no, actually, this works for the nurse burnout. That's all I did. I'd go home, and at night, my husband would be begging me to put the phone down, but so-and-so referred so-and-so to me. She didn't want to tell the nurse that she was going to breastfeed. Now her breast milk didn't come in because she didn't nurse in the first 3 days because she was positive for marijuana. They wouldn't even let her feed her baby, even though the doctor told her it was okay to smoke pot because blah, 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 blah. And he's okay with it. But now the hospital's policy, blah, blah, blah. And also, you're going to get fired. Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. And someone's going to sue you. Oh, yeah, that's true. Fuck it. I'll just help her. So good that she won't do it. Well, if she's addicted to any drug, she might do it if she needs drug money, which I don't like that assumption, but noted. But then again, at that point, you shouldn't really have your kid because you probably sell your freaking kid. And I hate saying that out loud because unfortunately, I've seen it all now. I want to explain something to you about nurse burnout because my head teacher, I can't even call her professor because that woman was brilliant. And she scared the piss out of me, and she was this big. I remember that I was always like, bitch, I'll step on you in my head while she was bitching at me about something that I did, because she heard her, I guess, and she heard bullshit. And she saw nurse burnout, and she said, you, if I call your name, come sit at this table right here. And I remember my name got called, and then my friend that was sitting next to me, she's like, I thought you weren't doing very well in class. Are you getting like an award or something? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I did something really good in clinicals. She's like, I know, that's what I'm like jealous of, because you're so good in clinicals. And she sat us all down. And I remember the other girls I was sitting with, I was like, we're like the ones who are like, I don't care about class so much, but damn, when you are in clinicals, you're like, how the fuck did she do that? She said, you guys right here, it was either 5 or 7 of us. She said, if you don't pay attention and write down every word this woman says, I'm joking, obviously, pay attention. Don't write a damn thing down. Talk to her after class, get her phone number, and then understand why I want a YouTube video in addition to this, because some of you need to get this point driven home. So Ms. McFadden, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm not drinking a martini because goddamn, I was an alcoholic, and you probably knew that. Probably get pregnant laughed at me, which means you knew and you called it, and you're probably like, my horse won. And I am pretty sure I'm the second one to quit. And I'm also eligible for rehire. I was also given the opportunity to give up my license instead of have it revoked from me because I wasn't stealing meds from the hospital for me. I was very open, honest, candid, and also got a phone call from my boyfriend who was in jail because of drug distribution was the charge at the time, but he pled guilty just to possession. But that was a big concern with the former Virginia State investigator, trooper, whatever, who is now a Virginia State Nursing Board investigator, and it was a point of concern. And since your husband voiced concern over the phone that you might have been working with him for years, we've pulled every med pull ever, and you're going to get a heavy, heavy, heavy piece of letter in the mail, and you better keep that thing. Because I'm going to tell you what, after talking to you for an hour and hearing you be honest and answer me without any hesitation, I feel confident that we're going to give you a really good offer, and you're not going to wish you were dead. But thank God you're stupid and wrong, apparently, because I told him too that I had tried to kill myself. And I'm a suicide survivor now. I'm not an attempted suicide failed, which means I died. And it's funny, I actually met another, and not funny, it's humbling. I met another suicide survivor who made it past the 5-year mark. But she said that her sons used to have to sometimes walk to the end of the driveway because she'd already gotten there and she was about to run out into 29. Which, by the way, if you're not from this area, is a very, very busy highway. And you drive fast because it's not that busy, but it is. I live on 130, which has recently become so busy. There's always road work. And there are a few times I've thanked God for that. So that's a story for a survival, especially if you are a suicide survivor, because I've met a lot lately. You're educated to do it. And unfortunately, I'm one of the only people I know that is willing to speak so candidly about my mental health issues because God healed me. I didn't used to believe in mental health issues, which is silly to me now because it's like not believing you have a right arm. I mean, how could it be correct? It's usually about the intelligence level of someone who says something retarded like that. My message to nursing students who are just now entering, because we are hitting a new school year and you're probably really excited. I was one of the favorites for the obnoxious nursing students who needed to be put in their place. All of the instructors of who would come to orthopedics would be like, hey, Robin, I got a group for you. And I was always like, oh, great. Do they have money? Because I don't have money for coffee. And they're always like, Robin, you can't ask them to buy you coffee. And I'm like, sometimes they do when I ask them. And she was like, don't do that again, because that's not nice. And I was like, okay. That was the Liberty one. The Lynchburg College one didn't care so much. But she and I were like frenemies because we were both like, I'm better. But she's like, I would say it to them, but I'm their instructor and I don't want them to hate me. And I've had a few people call you a bitch. And when I found out why, I was like, oh, yeah, Robin's going to be doing this. And so understand, by the way, I hate being called a bitch. I hate it. I don't like it when people don't like me. I'm peppy and fun-loving too. But I am all things to all people because I was a bartender first, and I don't know why, but goddamn, you need to go learn how to be a bartender or a waitress at a very busy restaurant first. Not very busy, but like, you know, Texas Roadhouse-y, because that's where I got my pizzazz. And that's when nurses started coming in and being like, you need to be a nurse. Go do that. So, when you enter a patient's room, it is the worst day of their life. Just go on and assume that. Assume that the doctor just came in and accidentally told them that they had stage 4 cancer, even though we hadn't staged it yet. Assume that somebody had catheterized them throughout the night because they were in the wrong room. And then as they were pulling it out with the balloon inflated, that they were going, oh shit, this was supposed to be in the, oh man, I'm so glad this patient's confused. Assume that you, sorry, right now I'm just like, so this one's a true story. Assume that you've taken vitals all night on a 98-year-old patient who died shortly after surgery. And well, by golly and by gummit, I'm holding a dead body in my hands and asking my CNA why we're still washing it up. And she's saying, well, baby, I gotta do her bath either way. Come on. Move it. She's tiny and you're acting stupid. And I said, don't take out. I know. This one's going to be for the forensics team. Girl, you ain't got to tell me. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. And I tell you what, I hope you looked at them vitals as soon as you walked in. And I said, I was standing there like this because a temperature of 95. I don't care if you got your vitals Q2 times 2 and then Q4 times 8 and then Q8, it doesn't change if your temperature keeps dropping and your pulse is 32 and thready and you're 98. Bitch, even when I was running a 10K a day, my pulse didn't get that low. I couldn't even get a blood pressure. She'd been dead all night. She died, must have been right after I left for my shift. But she told me right before that she wanted to die during the surgery. Unfortunately, she didn't die during the surgery, but I don't think she experienced much pain afterwards because I didn't give her any pain medicine. And I remember that when my unit manager said to me, you better pray you didn't give her any pain medicine because that family is here and they are wailing. And I was like, I've been here the whole day, Suzanne, so I know. Also, I was there with the family and they said, thank God we got you again today because you get it. Which I don't know what I got. They liked me. But assume that was the next door neighbor's family member. And they also had hip surgery or whatever. And I don't think it was her hip. But then I just remembered I shouldn't tell you anyway. But now that's going to bother me until I remember. But if you're walking into a clinical and you're like, hi, I'm going to give you a bed bath today. And the person is my age and looking at you like, no, you're not. Or if they're like, oh, yeah, you are. Then don't give them a bed bath. And remember that next door, even if it was nothing serious, even if it's a UTI and she's my age, maybe she just lost her kids and her husband's a paraplegic because he became a paraplegic during the separation, and maybe she's an alcoholic and doesn't want to talk about it, and She's been sitting here wondering if she should tell her doctor that it's not really a spider bite, but it's because she's got an IV drug problem. Maybe her husband's abusing her at home and she's trying to find a way to tell you that she didn't really care about the UTI, but that she holds it in every time, praying that she'll get septic so that she can go to the hospital to get a break. Because maybe her living situation is bad and she's taking care of her older family member and his mom, and she's got dementia running around rampant, and not to be specific or anything. And remember that even if you have a burnout nurse as a patient and she's a frequent flyer and she's there because she wants some Dilaudid, show that woman some goddamn respect. Because once you get hooked on that shit, it's for real. I always have Narcan at my house, even though it's very expensive and I have to buy it. And I'm not a drug user. And the pharmacist knows me because respect. When somebody calls you in the middle of the night because they're afraid to go to the hospital because they think they'll get arrested, but they're paranoid, but not having a heart attack, but they did just do some dog food right after they did a shot of meth, and I'm pretty sure that his pulse ain't right, and his veins are bulging, and Robin, can you please just pray for this poor boy, because I'm not bringing him to the house, I'm taking him to the emergency room. Thank you, you did the right thing. No, let me talk to Robin, please, I need her to pray for me. By the way, person who that is, I love you. I'm never giving you your hat back, but I think of that story often, and my family who calls the police on me on a regular basis because they don't understand what I'm doing here, because I didn't know I was doing something really cool at my house. You inspire me to be who I am, even if it's a little embarrassing that I'm not really as cool as the police think I am. And I'm not really the drug lord of the East Coast. I can't wait to watch. I will watch this video just to see that last little face, because I wonder what face I make every time I say drug lord. But when you're going to federal prison because you diverted meds and you owned it, you get some street cred that's not necessarily credible, but it is helpful to the community. But suddenly, when people beat you up because they think you're tough, and then they're like, oh shit, she really is just a little worm like she looks like, you get a healthy dose of cry, I hurt. Cry, get over it. Cry. Oh my God, I'm going to call somebody because I don't even want to be here anymore just because she's so annoying. So my nurse burnout took a turn for a different direction. But if you are a nurse burnout and you're watching this, you're not alone. You're not evil. You made a mistake. It's easy to do. You're not excused. You should beat yourself up, just like I know you will, because if you became a nurse, even if you did it for the money because you think that's worth it, even if you're the worst nurse I've ever seen because you said, I like working in the OR because my patients are dead, the doctors are cute, and I get my ass spanked and don't have to say anything about it, and it's hot, and I'm like, what? Even if you got into it for the wrong reasons, I hope you grew a little bit of a soul and have that healthy dose of, did I do the right thing? Because I think Ms. McFadden thought I would get burnout because I thought I was perfect. She didn't know that I was not just the abuser in my home life. So I realize how that could have sounded, but I'm leaving it ambiguous now because if you need clarification, you can ask. But I just did a video for my daughter about keeping it classy, and I'm not going to divert from that. Was it a good pun or a bad one? I liked that one. I better go see what my friend wants. I didn't even know he was here.